I grew up surfing in Venice. Caught my first waves when I was 2 years old. I'm a competitor. I love to win, but once I started surfing big waves, that's all I wanted to do.
Fuck yeah, Beck. Oh, shit!
When I was young, we learned how to surf at Driftwood down the beach with my dad and with my brother. And my dad was very adamant about not surfing the pier until we're good enough to not get in people's way and be respectful, and we knew the rules. I remember the first time he was like, all right, let's paddle over. Eve's out that day, like surfing really good. And that was the first time I ever saw Eve Bright, who was like a mentor of mine, like years to come. And I was like, okay, I gotta get better. And then I did. Once we knew kind of what the deal was, the locals were super cool, all the older guys. They let us surf until we all had to go to school, and then they would go out, which was super rad. It was like me, Colby, Zephyr, my brother, a couple other kids, Noah. Like from sun up till like 8 a.m., we would surf for the first hour, and they'd all just be chilling on the pier, heckling us. I grew up in an age where like the air reverse and like the 360s were like really starting to like blow up. And the waves in Venice aren't very long, so it's kind of like race down the line and do whatever you can. I remember I landed my first one, and my dad actually filmed it, and Red Dog is in the background commentating. It's funny. Red Dog's like, ah, yeah, sick one. It's pretty cool. The first like feeling of where I thought like, oh my gosh, surfing is like something you can do to like, you know, win stuff like that, because I was so young. I was 8. I did my first, it was a Hurley Rip My Shred Stick contest at Ocean Park Tower 26, and I'm pretty sure they always have the youngest competitor win, because I was by far the youngest. But I remember getting, you know, they said my name last, in first place Beck Adler, and handed me a brand new GoPro and like a trophy, and I was like getting water dumped on me by these pro surfers, and I was just like, this is the best feeling in the world. And then the next day I did the Ocean Park 26 contest. Just happened to be the next day, and then I won that one too, so I was like, okay, maybe. And then I started competing like actually with other kids.
We chasing the peaks, ignore the critiques. We starting to fly, we float at the sneaks. The bottom is cold, we kick from the deep. We back on the rise and feeling the heat. Give them a minute to see the ascension. No time to be chasing attention.
I did the NSSAs, National Scholastic Surfing Association.
Slow now, think it's time to let go now. Not the one you go hold down. We just planted the seeds, now they grow wild.
Then I started doing World Junior, like junior tour, junior pros. So I did those when I was probably like 13, 14, and then I did a couple QSs when I was like 14, 15, 16, 17.
We on the rise.
So the WQS World Qualifying Series is a part of the World Surf League. So there's the World Surf League, and within the World Surf League you have the WQS, you have the Challenger Series, and you have the CT, which is the Championship Tour. So that's like, the Championship Tour is like the NBA. Each step is like another step closer to the Championship Tour. I really enjoyed it. Like, I made a lot of good friends. I got to travel the world. All my friends were in school, and I was, you know, surfing hurricane swells in Florida, so that was pretty cool. I had a couple of like, you know, decent results, but I was young when I started on the QS, and I think my dad would probably agree, a little too young, because when I was, you know, 15, 16 doing QSs, I'm competing against 28-year-old, 30-year-old guys. It's like, that's how it is. You're at a professional level at that point. You're gonna lose when you're that young, a lot. The judges are gonna score you like a man, whether you're a man or not. And yeah, it's expensive. It's super expensive. When you're that young and you're not winning, you're not gonna get paid to do it. That's just a fact. I think it's better to start when you're a little older, more mature, but couldn't ask for a more supportive dad. You know, there's times where he was probably more into it than I was. But like, we had a thing where like, if I didn't make the quarterfinals, I didn't get in and out on the way home. It was the leftover peanut butter jelly sandwich from the cooler, you know? And then But I loved that, you know, like I was like, fuck, I don't deserve In-N-Out right now, you know, like I felt that too, you know. But then you get the other end of it too, where like he's putting so many hours, like waking up at 5 a.m. before he got to go to work all day. Like I'm going to school late, getting out of school at, you know, 2:30, going surfing again. He's still at work. And he would stand on the beach and film and not surf. I know I'm gonna be the same way too, and I'm a dad, like I'm gonna care so much, like it's just, I think you can't help it. But I stopped competing when I was 16 or 17. I kind of fell out of love with it a little bit. I was being super hard on myself. I had some mental health issues that came along with like that whole process of like just constantly going through it when you're that young, and not having like that normal high school life was like weird. But it shaped me into like becoming kind of self-aware of my mental state, and like really had to work on that coming out of it. I lost all the time and I was sick of it, and I felt like I had other pursuits I wanted to go for in the surf world. Moved on from it and went after exactly what I was really like striving for. I just knew I wanted to surf Mavericks one day. I had like a weird little obsession with it. When I was really young, when I was like 10, 11, 12, I was super scared of bigger waves. And I'm talking not big waves, like just, you know, overhead waves. And then slowly I got over that, surfing with Eve Bright and Pat Bright, just pushing me to go on closeout barrels at the pier at home. I love getting barreled, and then I was gonna like work up to it and start at Totos and then go to Mavs, but I saw like a perfect swell on the map for Mavs, like no wind, just perfect size, not too big. And I couldn't even drive yet. So I like called my buddy who could drive, Justin Marchand, and he drove me up there in the middle of the night. He drove all night. We got there at like 4 a.m. We slept in the back of my dad's truck. I was on the phone with Will Scudin the night before, because that's the guy you want to talk to. And he just told me like he had a ski going out, and he was like, but you're gonna paddle out. Like it's your first session, you're gonna paddle out. You're gonna come sit in the channel with me. Yeah, no jet ski first session, no inflation vest, just a wetsuit, a little bit of foam padding. And I paddled out with Grant Washburn, who's a legend. I sat on the shoulder with Scudin for a bit, and then I paddled out on his board, which was a 10-3, and which was way too big for me at the time. But yeah, I paddled out, caught one wave on his board, and then got caught inside, had to dive under, got smoked. And then Mason Barnes was out there on the ski, and I hadn't even met him yet. His dad was a pro skater back in the day, skated with all the Z-Boys. So that's like another Venice connection right there. And he let me use his board, and he hadn't even met me. He gave me this perfect 9.0, went out, had an insane session. That, like, it's weird how things kind of fell into place for me after that first session, like it was kind of meant to happen. I just knew like I'm not gonna miss another day out here. Like every time it's good, I'm gonna be out here. I told my dad, like, if there's a swell at Mavericks and there's a QS on the same day, I'm not going to the contest, I'm going to the swell. And I pretty much have done that. Like every swell, I'm pretty much out there. It's like a mix between a gladiator pit and like a love, like a deep love, like with like a woman. I don't know, it's like, it's a weird feeling. It's like, damn, this thing could change my life, like for the positive or the negative at any moment.
Olha essa. Little guy, little 18 years old guy. Ew.
Honestly, it's crazy. But it's a privilege to be around the people that I get to be around. I mean, Chumbo is just like the man. He's the gnarliest guy out there wherever he is. He's the nicest guy. Like me and my buddy Rolando went to Nazareth and we couldn't get our boards on the plane, and we got there and he gave us a brand new 10.6 to use for the month while we were there.
Look, Chumbo's picking him up on the jet ski right now. They're getting a ride out.
And then I think like more locally, I'd say, you know, Eve Bright's always been someone I looked up to. Like, he's someone that had a very profound, like, good professional career when he was young, and then has turned that into just like, you know, a regular lifestyle with like a great family. And I think that's a really cool thing. And I have a travel budget with IPD. That's my main sponsor, and so like if I want to go on a trip, they'll pay for that. I have a certain amount of money they give me every year to travel, but it's nothing like I don't pocket any of the money. I have to work, so I work as a lifeguard all summer. And then I've been getting my board shaped by Paizel for the past, since I was probably 12 or 13. I switched over from local shaper Scott Anderson. That was something he actually encouraged me to do. And then also Vea Supplies. They've been hooking me up with pads and leashes, and obviously, you know, Rider Shack's been a big supporter of mine my whole life. That was one of my first jobs, working in the shop there, and every time I go in there, it's like, you know, second, third home. So that's like family to me. Pretty much every time before I paddle out, I throw up. You know that it's, you know, potentially life-threatening, but realistically, big wave surfing comes down to confidence, honestly. If you're confident in yourself.
It's getting demolished. Oh.
I've kind of like faced a couple of near-death experiences. Like I've had a few asthma. I have pretty severe asthma that I'm dealing with still. I've had days at Mavericks, and I had a day in Nazareth where I paddled out, couldn't breathe. It was 40 to 50 foot. I caught a wave, got smoked, got pounded all the way to the beach, and was having an asthma attack on the beach. And like, you know, that's scary, but then it's like, oh, I just proved to myself that like, I can just do it regardless. So like, if I get my body and my mind feeling right, like, I think the sky's the limit for like the waves I can get.
I got a game plan, I'm a new man and I'm coming to win it. Won't do it alone with my own hands, that's how you know that I'm different. Just look at the scales that we tipping, got my whole team on a mission.